pressure then withdraw away. Conventionality belongs to yesterday. There is a chance that we can make it so far. We stop believing now we can be who we are. Greece is the word that you heard. It's got groove, it's got meaning.
Hey everyone, it is another Tuesday. Welcome. And if you are listening on a whole bunch of channels, welcome. I am on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I apologize, it is not integrated with StreamYard, so chat amongst yourselves, but unfortunately, I am not going to be able to see your chats. But thank you so much for being here. And if you're listening to this live, welcome. Welcome to the chat. And if you're listening to it on the replay, welcome as well. And I'm also now on podcast, wherever podcasts are, wherever you listen to your podcast. So all the major platforms have the podcast. So those are the new exciting things. Speaking of podcasts, if you're, looking for another podcast to listen to, Gig Economy Podcast is fantastic, especially anything gig related. So another gig work podcast to listen to. So you might want to go check out that one as well. So I have a 2-topic show tonight, so that's actually pretty exciting. First is we're going to talk about the DoorDash facial recognition. Is it the answers to our problems with DoorDash, or is it really just another problem? And then also we're going to talk about DoorDash Peak Pay, and the crazy Peak Pay that I did a video on this week. But is Peak Pays really worth it working the DoorDash platform? So those are the 2 topics we're going to talk about today. As people are coming in, don't forget to give this live a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you guys didn't know, this is my birthday week. I'm so excited. So I'm going to be taking a couple of days off towards the end of the week to go away for my birthday. So it doesn't happen very often, but don't you worry. I have some stuff ready to go in the pipelines to keep you guys entertained while I take a couple days of rest and relaxation, which I don't get to do that often. So I'm actually really excited for this upcoming weekend. And I think that's kind of all the real updates that I have right now going on. So I know, taking the day off, what? I don't do that. But it's all good. I'm excited to spend time with the family. I'm excited to get away. And that doesn't happen very often. So, yeah. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to the chat. So, let's dive right into the 2 topics I have going on right now. And some of it is related to the videos that I've done this past week. I feel like there was like a lot of things going on as far as DoorDash is concerned. Walmart is just another subject all in itself, which Zach and I will talk about tomorrow night with How We Hustle. So if you guys are around tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, you can check it out on this channel and also Zach's channel as well. So anyway, but yeah, Walmart's just a hot mess right now. But DoorDash facial recognition. So I got, and you guys are going to have to let me know, did you guys get the facial recognition for DoorDash this past week? Let me know in the chat right now if you guys got it this past week. And I'm going to tell you why I am asking this question. So go ahead, let me know. Simple yes or no. Yes, you got it. No, I don't have it. Okay, so a couple of you guys did. Okay, so I wasn't the only one, which I actually find Interesting. I wonder how they pick and choose what markets or what areas actually do the facial recognition. Doesn't that make you guys kind of wonder? Makes me wonder. But anyway, so this facial recognition was my first one I've done with DoorDash in a good 8 months to a year. When was the last time you guys actually did a facial recognition on DoorDash? Because mine was literally like 8 to 10 months. So as I was doing the facial recognition, first of all, I was excited and I'm like, oh my God, I really hope this becomes more of a everyday thing than a once in a while thing. So then it really got me thinking, would facial recognition solve a lot of the problems that are happening on the DoorDash platform? Would it solve the illegal accounts going on? Would it solve oversaturation in a lot of our markets? Would it solve us actually getting orders all over again? Would it? Just just food for thought. So it really got me thinking that this past week, but then kind of the cynic kind of hit came in with me with this one, and it got me really thinking, hmm, I don't know whether it honestly does any good because even though we did the facial recognition this past week, I saw the same drivers that I normally see that probably shouldn't be on the DoorDash platform in my own area. So, unless they're going to do it sporadic, unless they are going to actually do it more often, if they're going to do it unannounced, I think those are the only ways that it would actually work. So until, in my opinion, DoorDash steps up to the plate and really understands what's going on with their app. And don't get me wrong, I really think they know what's going on, at least in my opinion. They know what's going on. They're just choosing not to really understand what's going on. Does that make any sense? Like, they're a tech company, right? So they understand the inner workings of the platform. They understand what is at stake. They understand what the implications are, but yet they're not doing anything about it. But yet they're a tech company. So why is that? Like, is it because they're getting orders delivered? At least in my opinion, like, that's the bottom line. Until orders aren't getting delivered, like, they're just not going to really do anything that's gonna affect us drivers. Am I the only one who believes that? You guys are gonna have to let me know. I know there were some of you guys that were actually saying that the facial recognition wasn't even recognizing your own self. And I can't remember who actually said that it actually took them 16 hours. I think it was Bud Soda, but I think some people were saying it was taking like 16 hours. Granted, it wasn't an easy facial recognition to do, and I did it. It was kind of awkward, I have to tell you. So, kind of a funny story. When I was doing the facial recognition, I did the front one and it took the picture. And then I turned my head and it's almost like it wasn't taking the picture. So I kept looking forward to see whether it took the picture and it was kept still going around the circle. And then I looked again to the side and then it was still going around. I'm like, can you freaking take the picture already? Like, it was so awkward. At least for me, it was awkward. I don't know. But in my opinion, I don't think that they're effective unless you use them properly. And in this case, like, I just don't think DoorDash is doing what they need to do in order to solve the problems. And when you really think about facial recognitions, how many times do you guys actually get facial recognitions on Uber Eats? For me, it's probably once, even twice a week, and they do it at, like, the most inconvenient random times, but I guess that's the whole point of them doing it, is to catch drivers off guard. For me, I'm usually multi-apping, and I've turned off Uber Eats while I'm doing a DoorDash order, and I go to turn it back on after the DoorDash order, it's done, and I'm driving, and they're like, "You need to take a picture," and you're like, "Darn it, it's gonna have to wait until I stop." But those are usually my most inopportune times, but at least I know that it's being done. Could it be done more often? Yes. But I think it's only as effective as often as it's actually being done. But when you think also, of other platforms that do facial recognition, Instacart does facial recognition, Walmart Spark does recognition. Walmart Spark, um, Walmart Spark. I'll touch on it for a little bit because I don't want to completely dive into it tonight. But with Walmart Spark, they at least do it, at least in my area, once a week. How often do you guys get the facial recognition on Walmart Spark? But it's God, that has never solved anything, at least in my opinion. I think, in my opinion, like, facial recognition on Walmart Spark is like 10% effective. I don't think it's doing a darn thing for that app whatsoever. And I am really believing the same thing with DoorDash. How effective do you think facial recognition right now is on the DoorDash app? Do you think it's effective? Do you think it's been, like, kicking the wrong drivers off on the platform? Do you think that it's actually doing its job? I don't know, you guys can decide that and let me know, but I think it's about as effective on Walmart Spark as it is on DoorDash at this present moment. So, in your guys' opinion, what platform do you think is has the best facial recognition? Go ahead. Let me know. Which one do you think has the best facial recognition? Okay, so a couple of you say Uber Eats. Okay. Okay, I think we might be all in agreement with Uber Eats with the best facial recognition. Do you guys think it's the best facial recognition? Sorry, just because they do it sporadically and they do it often? That, to me, that's the better question. Like, what do you think makes them the best at facial recognition? To me, it's because they're doing it more often and they catch drivers off guard. And I think that's what, in my opinion, that's what DoorDash and Walmart Spark need to do. Because if there are drivers out there with illegal or fake accounts and are using other people's accounts, that person's not going to be standing right next to them to do a facial recognition. If you do it more often, they're going to have to get to these people's accounts in order to do the facial recognition, and then they cannot work on the platforms. So, to me, that is the solution, right? I think the solution is do it more often, do it random, do it so people are caught off guard. If you're doing the right thing and you're on the platform the correct way, at least in my opinion, I'll do it as many times as you tell me to do it. If it means that I'm going to get orders and get them more often, because now my oversaturation problem of my area has gone away because it's solving a lot of these problems. So, do you think that some of these accounts are causing the oversaturation in a lot of your markets? In my market, I think it is. I don't know. Do you guys think that these accounts are causing oversaturation? Yeah, I completely agree. I think more apps need to have facial recognition to avoid illegal accounts. I agree. But I think that it's really more about just making sure it's being done, right? 2 times in a year isn't doing anything, at least in my opinion. What is it gonna do? At least I don't think it's doing anything really. So that's my food for thought for you guys. Really, really thought felt, right? Just thought provoking. Like it shakes my head. I'll be honest, I think Instacart does a really fantastic job at facial recognition. Do they do it as often as Uber Eats? No, they don't. But I think it needs to be done more often, but I think they're more detailed when it comes to the facial recognition. And I agree, you know, facial recognition needs to work. I agree. I don't think facial recognition is working on the Walmart platform whatsoever, because if it was, they wouldn't be having the problems that they have right now, which I don't think it's I think I might even lessen my percentage to like 5%. I think it works like 5% of the time. Because if it actually worked, would Walmart Spark be having all of their issues they're having right now? Would they have all these groups coming in and taking orders? Would they have all these cloning devices? Would they have three or four phones? Like, come on, that's a little insane and out of control, at least in my opinion. How can one person go in, like, have you ever gone to Walmart and they have like three or four phones and they're trying to get as many orders, and you're just sitting there like watching it happen right in front of your face, and you're like, seriously, why isn't anything being done? Well, obviously facial recognition isn't working here. Ah, yeah. And I'm gonna go off topic a little bit, because I actually agree, Brian. Without shop and delivers, these restaurant orders have been pretty bad the last month. Shop and delivers have, in my opinion, have been the savior of a lot of my January and February. I think, along with food delivery, I think shopping and delivers, shop and pays, whatever platform you are actually working, I think that they're saving a lot of us and making some of us, if you're if you're into doing shop and pays, or you're open to doing shop and pays, it is a good way of making some decent money on these platforms. I think companies need to check if someone gets deactivated to not be able to create another email and get reactivated. I think that is a very valid point. It's out there in the YouTube community how to do it. Like, you get deactivated, this is how you get back on and you can start working again. What's not to stop anybody that from it happening to any one of us? Like, another reason of oversaturation, right? Obviously, there's wrongful deactivations. We all know that, but we also know that there's deactivations that are pretty justified. Should those drivers be able to get back on the platform? But yeah. Oh, that's weird. So they still won't tell you why they haven't given me shop and pay privileges on Uber Eats. Becky, do you have the Uber Eats card that you can actually go shopping? Usually that's one of the reasons why you don't get shop and pays. I'm just curious. Yeah. You have really good drivers out there, right? Like, I would like to think all of us here right now are fantastic drivers. We're here to make money. We're here to hustle. We're here to go out and do what we need to do. So we're all good drivers, but these bad drivers are giving a lot of us good drivers our bad names, right? Our bad rap. God, one bad delivery, and you end up in Business Insider, or you end up in a bad TikTok video about a driver doing this or doing that, and you're like, darn it! Just when we thought we were getting into a good light, not all drivers are bad. We're some really fantastic, we're fantastic drivers out there. I don't know. Anyway, facial recognition for you. DoorDash, I always say this. I hope they listen. I hope they listen to content creators. I hope they're listening right now. Even though I have a small voice, it is a little bit mighty that I just wish, please do something. Please. I know it's a pain in the butt. And I know some of you guys think facial recognition is a pain in the butt. And I agree. It stops you from just getting on the platform and working. But would you rather take that couple of minutes to do a facial recognition, knowing that you can go out and get orders and you're not going to be sitting around and hoping and praying for an order because it takes care of oversaturation? That's kind of the thing you have to outweigh. Will the facial recognition take care of some of these problems that we're all facing? But I'm a fan of making money too. Isn't that why we do what we do? Ah, I love this, and I agree. Oops. It touches my heart when the handicapped people say we are lifesavers. For a lot of people, we are. I mean, going off topic for just a half a second, I did an Instacart shop today, and very last order of the afternoon, and I go, and this sweet lady answers the door, and she hurt her hip and she broke some ribs because she took a fall, and this was her only way of getting groceries. And she was so nice, and I helped her out as much as I possibly can. But she was so grateful that she had two cases of water, and I placed the cases of water right inside her doorway, and she was just so grateful and so kind. And it's people like that and customers like that that kind of stick with us. So she's going to stick with me because I'm always going to remember how kind and amazing some of these customers are, because we are their lifeline. She wouldn't have been able to get out and go grocery shopping. You know, they that I was her lifeline for today. I was her shopper and lifeline. So it's I think though that's the part that I love what we do. You hear amazing stories of how drivers actually help the community and help, um, whether it's retired people, whether it's handicapped people, whether, there's so many people you can help out there. And that's kind of the fun of what we do. You can really make a difference, even though some people think we're just delivery drivers. To me, we're more than that. We're pretty awesome people. Thank you. Nice drivers like you, Kim, makes us look good. Thank you, much appreciated. So anyway, facial recognition for you, but with facial recognition, and we're going to talk about oversaturation because it's going to be like a two-part um to all of this. Is did you guys see the video? And it's okay if you didn't, but did you guys see the video I posted about the most ridiculous peak pay I've ever seen on the DoorDash platform? Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen that peak pay? So if you haven't seen it, and I'm gonna give a shout out right now to Cray Cray. She's the one, Cray Cray Nay. She's the one who actually sent it to me from Jacksonville, Florida. Um, thank you. They had Friday night a minus 50-cent peak pay. What would you guys do? And if you did have this, let me know what your reaction was. If you had a minus 50-cent peak pay, what would you do? Would you just turn off DoorDash and say, no, I'm not working it right now, knowing that you're going to be losing 50 cents? What would you do? I would turn off DoorDash so fast and work my other apps to make my money. Like I wouldn't even turn off DoorDash. Even though DoorDash is like probably my number one money maker, there's no way I would turn it on at a negative 50-cent peak pay. And I'm going to quote Sergio right now. Know your worth. My worth is better than negative 50 cents. Now, granted, there was a couple of things. So we found out later, it was a glitch that happened, and no driver lost money during that mistake. We're going to call it a mistake. How does a mistake like that happen? Does anybody question that? Like, how does a mistake like that happen? A tech company like DoorDash, how does a mistake like that happen? Somebody, so we would get deactivated, right? If something wrong happened at a driver's house, like at a customer's house, right? We would get deactivated if, we didn't deliver it properly or a customer did it a typo, as one of you guys just said. So if we made any mistake, what would be the first thing? We would literally what we would get deactivated. So what's the repercussions of someone doing a mistake at minus 50 cents? Right? Am I right on this one? I just don't understand how I get mistakes happen, but that's a pretty big mistake. Don't you guys think? Negative 50 cents. I think it's a big mistake. But you know what? I'm going to talk conspiracy theory for just a little bit. We all, we all know I love a good conspiracy theory, even though sometimes they're not always right. In my opinion, nothing in DoorDash is ever done as a mistake or a glitch. At least in my opinion. I think DoorDash does a lot of things on purpose and hides it under the false tense that it was a glitch because they're testing things out to see if what would happen if it happens to drivers. I think it was a test. That's my conspiracy theory. I always think DoorDash does things on purpose. I think they test a lot and they later then if it doesn't work out or if something looks wacky, they're like, "Oh, we're sorry. It was a glitch." So, I didn't see the dollar. Friday night, some nights it was minus 50 cents and one was minus a dollar. I didn't see the dollar. I only saw the negative 50 cents. Interesting. Yeah. I honestly, in my opinion, once again, just my complete opinion, I think DoorDash was testing to this is gonna sound horrible, to see how stupid people were to actually take orders during negative 50 cents, to see if they can actually get away with it. Because if you really think about it, how many times are you guys ever in the middle of a dash and you close out an order and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm in a peak pay? When did that happen? Because DoorDash never alerts drivers. If you're already on the app and you're already working it, DoorDash never really tells drivers, hey, by the way, that you're now getting $1 peak pay. So if you're working the app and you're in the middle of a dash and you've already taken an order, would you ever would you ever know that there's a negative 50-cent peak pay? So how many think about this. For just to have a second, we're gonna do a little bit of math right now, and I'm not the best math person there is out there, so we're not gonna go deep dive math. But if you think about it, just in God, I'm even thinking think about your own state, your own area. Say they did it for a whole entire state. How many drivers do you think are working? I'm going to make this number up like 10,000, 20,000 drivers, 50, 60. Do that minus 50 cents per every driver, per every order. How much money did DoorDash just save by doing that? How much money did they pocket by doing that? That's a good question, right? Because we all know it's about the dollars and cents, right? I swear it's a test. It's a test to see how many drivers actually took negative 50 cents. Oh, you already did the math. Of course you did. Gary and I lowballed the country for 3-hour period and came up with just over. That's crazy. 250. That's ridiculous. See, look at how much money they're pocketing just by doing that. Absolutely ridiculous. So here's my question to you. Do you think peak pays are worth going out and working? I had once again, guys, thank you so much for the comments you guys do. I try to answer as many as I possibly can, and I really do appreciate them. But someone had said they were brand new to DoorDash. It was the first time they actually saw a peak pay. They got a $5 peak pay and they got like what was it? I forget what the comment said, but it was like a ridiculous amount. 3 orders in like 3 hours during a peak pay. So are peak pays even worth going out and working? I say sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. I think it also depends on your market. In my market, anything over a $2 peak pay, forget about it. It brings out every driver known to man, and you can't get any orders. Honestly, there's no point. You might as well just either pack up and go home or work other platforms because I'm not getting a DoorDash order during anything more than a $2 peak pay. But at the same time, there are times though, if it's on the opposite end, and we're going to talk a little positively, that I've had it happen in my own market that especially if it's a weekday peak pay, not so much weekends, but if it's a weekday like afternoon, even morning, because I'm a top dasher, I can get on the platform whenever I want, and there are many drivers that can't get on during a peak pay, so it actually works in my benefit, and I can get orders during those times of the day if it happens during those times of day. So forget the weekends, but it's more like off hour peak pays that it actually works in my favor, that I actually don't mind working some of these peak pays. But if it's like prime time, like dinner rush, weekends, over $2 for me, forget about it. At least that's the way it works. And let me know how it works in your own market. Um, do you think Top Dasher program is going away? I do think Top Dasher is going away. I think it's going away soon. It's my prediction. There's so many funky things that they're doing between the tier program, between um earn by time. The one and only feature Top Dasher has going for it right now is the Dash Now. Is it really worth keeping around if that's like the one and only feature it's good for? Granted, for me, it's a good feature to have. That's awesome. You've been a Top Dasher for 13 months in a row. I think I am going on a year and a half, maybe 2. I think summertime I might be coming up on my 2-year Top Dasher. Is that a thing? 2-year Top Dasher anniversary. I think I there was only 1 month, and it was like 2 Decembers ago that I didn't do Top Dasher because I wanted to see what life would be without it. And I thought that December would be a good time because it would be busy enough that I can just like get on. And this is before like all this craziness really happened with the whole scheduling thing. And it's always gray. Like it never used to be like that. Like it used to be able to get during peak times, you never really had a schedule. You can just get on. Those days are just so long gone. I know, Anthony. You this makes me chuckle every time. I've been a bottom dasher for 2 years. That's awesome. Hey, whatever works for you. Make your money however you wanna make your money. I never say top dasher is the way to go. It's just the way to go for me. So do whatever you need to do to go make your money and to go out and hustle, whatever that is. Um, bottom feeder. But anyway, so that was my thought on peak pace. And I really thought I was just going to let you guys decide. Do you think that peak pays are worth going out and working and making money? Are they what they used to be? I feel like so old when I say that. Like you're like, ah, back in the day. My grandmother used to always say, when I was growing up, she would always used to say, when I was a kid, I would have to travel X amount of miles through the snow. And like, I feel like that. Well, back in the day, the good old days of DoorDash, they're just turning and burning drivers left and right. And here we are, program and changes program and changes later. Here we are. I feel like talking about DoorDash. That's always the front fourth of what we talk about. Yeah. Nice. You're almost diamond on Instacart. That is amazing. I'm a couple away from platinum just because I don't do it. I mean, I do a good amount of Instacart. I don't do enough to be diamond. Maybe next quarter I will strive to become diamond, but I would have to give up a lot more DoorDash in order to become diamond. Poor Seattle market. I Seattle is a mess and a half right now. Oh, yeah. I feel for drivers over in Seattle, um, those who thought Seattle was going to be fantastic and pave the way for hourly wage and thinking about, oh god, what was it again? $26 an hour as a driver. You think, oh my god, that sounds like amazing. $26. And then when you really break it down and it's of active time and you're not getting any orders into your phone and you can't be active because no orders are coming to your phone. It is a hot mess over there. I'm sorry, Seattle drivers. Hopefully it gets better soon for you. I have a feeling until and if they reverse this ruling, I don't I think a lot of these gig companies destroyed what's going on in Seattle between the fees that they're charging customers, between the percentage they're taking away from merchants. It's absolutely insanely ridiculous. At least that's my opinion. I When it first rolled out, I'm like, watch out, guys. Everybody was saying how fantastic it was going to be, and people were going to get like all this money. And I'm like, it's active hours, guys. They're not going to be paying $26 every hour because they're going to come out of their pocket. And yeah. So, guys, so much. Don't forget to, if you're here right now, take a moment, give this live a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Would much appreciate it. Uh, Hourly method. I agree, Brian. The hourly method does not work for this type of business. Like I feel like everybody wants it to work, and it's not the way that this business runs. At least in my opinion, it is not the way that this business runs. It's not going to work because these companies, DoorDash, Uber Eats, we're going to talk about food delivery because that's a lot of what's happening in Seattle, but it can happen for any one of these gig companies. But they're really dictating how it's playing out in a lot of these markets. They're saying a big screw you to a lot of these cities. And they're like, okay, we have to pay this, and this is what we're going to do to the city. And they're literally destroying it with fees and percentages and the cost of living, the economy. Oh, man, crazy. It's absolutely crazy. At least in New York, like, I feel like New York is as bad as New York was, it's not even close to being as bad as Seattle. But yeah, that's a very good point, Thomas. DoorDash is the easiest app to get on. It's why it's oversaturation. It's also the easiest app to cheat to get on too, supposedly. Yeah, and for Seattle is a different type. That's very true. Yeah, Seattle is definitely a different type of insanity. I can't even imagine. I think Zach was talking, was it last week or the week before? It's He was talking that just to order like a $12, like if you were like a single person living in Seattle and you just wanted to order something yourself, say it was like a $12 meal, it actually ended up being like $40 after all the delivery fees, all the taxes, and the tip for the driver. A $12 meal ended up being $40. 40. Can you imagine trying to get yourself a $12 meal and then you're actually spending $40 for someone to deliver something to your house? That's insane. Why would anybody use these platforms and spend $40 on a $12 meal? It's crazy. Absolutely insane. Kim, you are my seventh subscriber. I can't believe it. 7 subscriber and 7,000 subscribers later. Thank you guys, by the way, for all of your dedication to this channel. I really, truly appreciate it. I did send out a community post. If I could thank every single one of you, I absolutely would. I wouldn't be here without each and every one of you watching. All the time. So I appreciate your continued support of this channel, and hopefully we're gonna keep on going, right? I can't, 3 years later, here we are. I can't believe it. Seems like just yesteryear. Who knew starting during the pandemic would lead to where we are today, right? It's crazy ride. But the people I've met along the way have been pretty amazing. Oh, you guys are amazing. Every single one of you holds a place in my heart. So I truly, truly appreciate it. Yeah, hey, I'm still a full-time driver. I still work 40, 40 to 50 hours a week on top of everything I do for YouTube, on top of lives and everything like that. If you guys haven't caught my break time with Kim live, I do that randomly now during the weekdays. I figure if I have time, I try to connect with a whole bunch of you guys during the weekday that I don't get to connect with on Tuesday nights. So if you guys are ever available, um, be on the lookout. It usually happens between like 2 and 3 o'clock ish. Um, it's been a lot of fun. I usually eat my lunch and you guys are feel free to hang out and join me as I eat lunch. Jonathan, it is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. The link or the notification should actually go out maybe tomorrow morning, but it'll be tomorrow night. You feel free to come and join us. We actually have a guest tomorrow night, which I'm really excited. That's why I said we're gonna hold off on the Walmart Spark Talk until tomorrow night. It's going to be a pretty interesting show because we have someone who knows a lot about what's going on with Walmart Spark and also can shed some light a little bit on what's been happening. So I'm actually excited for tomorrow's night live. Not that I'm not never excited about doing the live, but I'm excited for tomorrow night's live. Oh, that's awesome. I'm just so excited that I actually get to connect with a whole bunch of people. It feels like the 2 o'clock. Well, for it's 2 o'clock for me. So Anthony, I think what is it, 12-ish for you? 11 o'clock on the West Coast. So I feel like I can connect with a lot of people. And who doesn't need a break every once in a while to take a time to breathe and relax? Like it actually forces me a couple of times a week to like stop. I feel like I am like the energizer bunny that just keeps going and going and going and going. And then every once in a while I need to stop and it forces me to stop and pause and take my lunch and it's 11ish. Okay, so you're somewhat West Coast time. But anyway, so I think that's why I'm so excited about this coming weekend because I don't I don't take time off. Like it's a very strange foreign concept. Oh, the wrap was so good. I had two wraps last week. One was the chicken BLT wrap. I'm such a foodie. And then the other one was the buffalo chicken wrap. They were both fantastic wraps. Highly recommend them. They were very good. Even my salad was good last week. Mm. But this week for us, it's supposed to rain, I think, all the way through until like the end of the week. But anyway, that's my week coming up. So guys, don't forget to check out the my podcast on every major podcasting however you watch your or listen to your podcast. Don't forget to check out the Gig Economy podcast if you're into podcasts. Fantastic. Tomorrow night I will be here with Zach at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I will not be on the Rodeo Roundtable this week, but definitely go check out Steve's Rodeo Roundtable on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern as well. And I think that's kind of my week coming in. I know rain does bring money, so I'm hoping it's going to be a really good week so far. But anyway, okay, you guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. The keep the positivity coming, keep the positive vibes coming, keep the comments coming. I love hearing from each and every one of you guys. Don't forget on the way out, don't forget to give this live a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, guys, if you're driving, please stay safe. Remember, kindness is always free. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live. I'll see you later. Bye, everyone. Peace out.
Stop believing now. We can